All right, here we go again. We're going to have a meeting with Howard Lutnick. So again, when did he start? Did he start like when Trump's in there, or does he have to wait? Did he start that first day? All right. So what I said is still rings true. Okay. So let's just look at inflation pressures and groceries. So a lot of times we see something that's considered an inflation pressure, but it really wouldn't affect groceries for 3 months or something like that. And in that 3 months, it might actually not affect. I'm going to turn the volume up just a tad. But in those 3 months, you may hear me cough. I'm just let you know I have a postnasal drip. I don't know if it's from the leftover from the COVID or the. I'm off my allergy medicine because you got to, you can't take a million tons of medicine. So when I had COVID, I got off my allergy medicine. But now I'm thinking I just got back on my Allegra today and about midday, and I'm thinking maybe that's going to slow this drip down because I'm in the middle of like it's extreme. It's not even high. It's called extreme level of dust and dander. And I got some medicine coming right now, but they hacked it, and I had to cancel an order because it was being ordered in Santa Fe. Again, the address wasn't supposed to be on my account because I've already changed it. So they did that, but they also started hacking me while I tried to order because what that does is that frustrates you. And then when you get to the end of the order, when you order it, you might miss the delivery address. Again, they do this to tons of people, so they know what the psychology of that is. Right. So when we, oh, that's not going to work. See if I can clear it. So we look at inflation pressures, and sometimes they're raising prices, and the inflation pressure never even materializes. So again, at what point and what's the enforcement mechanism to say, hey, corporate world, you have enough profit. It's time that you pull your weight in the economy. Right. So we can also help with offsets. Now, Trump did an offset for the farmers, and that was a crazy thing with the tariffs. But I told him, I told everybody that could see my stuff online that tariffs were like that. That you have to be careful because then you might have to create an offset right somewhere. You might have to manipulate the economy somewhere to cover for something that the tariffs do. Thank you, Mary. So again, corporate responsibility to the economy, so that they're making a nice profit and they can either not raise the prices or drop the prices. So apparently, based upon bird flu, again, my medicine should have been here already. I have some, but I like Safe Tussin because it doesn't have all that junk in it. I have some. Again, I forgot not to buy the generics anymore because sometimes you buy nothing. I mean, it's just so weak. Right. So I didn't want to use this other one I had that's a generic. So at what point and what will be the enforcement mechanism to say, hey, you're raising your prices too much? Right. A little bit irresponsible. And then we have we can offset things. We can Biden actually engaged in it a little bit. He didn't do it early enough when I told him. And again, he figured he had time, that he didn't have to wait, or that he could wait. I mean, right? And he didn't. He needed to start his move to lower the price of oil much quicker. That's it. So when you drop the price, especially gas at the pump or diesel at the pump, that actually should offset any possible increase. Right? In two ways. The manufacturers should say, well, that's going to cut our operating costs, so we actually don't have to raise the price. Right. and then the consumer also realizes a little bit of extra money. An offset state governments uh, doing away with their state's food sales tax. Right? There's only so many states that do actually tax food. I don't think they all do, but things like that. So, well, we have to start looking because I knew if inflation was going to come, I just or that it could come. Again, it doesn't have to come. We can do things to hold that off. I mean, we have to look at what the overhead is and all that for the grocers and all that, the manufacturers. But if we look at the price of oil at the pump, it's up a little bit, not much, but it's up a little bit right now. So that could also that could increase operating costs. Right? The amount it's up, the average American probably that does we don't drive that much, but people that deliver food and, right, and transport food and companies that pay for that might um, have a little inflation pressure off of that. Right? They're saying something with bird flu and eggs and all of that. So I'm going to actually only speak briefly, and I'll get that medicine in here, and I'll take it, and I'll be able to speak without coughing. But I had to fight the hackers. They were hacking my order. Again, it's Walgreens. I think Walgreens needs to update something in their system. I told the woman at the end of the conversation, I said, thank you for canceling the order, but I think you need to tell your security people that you probably have hackers. And again, for all I know, it could be government hackers, U.S. government hackers. They're that irresponsible people in government, right? Well, again, we're at a point. I mean, Trump's taking that office, I guess, tomorrow or something like that, right? And game on the first day because there's inflation pressure. Right. Right. Well, you can't get rid of all the H-1B employees. You can't get rid of all the immigrant. We banners out there, and it sounds good, right? We can saber rattle, but we can't. Right? But what we can do is begin to adjust things. As far as American workers, they'd be great at it, but it's an uphill battle sometimes in this nation to get anywhere. Again, I spent a lot of time around the Indian communities. I was at the Hindu temples, the Hare Krishna temples, the Sikh temples. So I spent some time, and again, it's more of a ethnic culture. And again, you could have four of them living in a room, right? But it's a fun life. I mean, it's not what you all think. Again, I lived in Venice Beach for a short period of time. I don't remember how many months, and then the deep state attacked, and it just became apparent that I needed to move on. Right. But we lived in a house, and it was like I lived on the top floor. It was probably the best place to live, with about I don't know how many people we had in the room, like 8 people or something like that. And then there was other rooms throughout the house. And there's a Vietnam vet that was a personal trainer at Bally's in Culver City, and a psychic lady that would wear a turban and go down the beach and do readings, that kind of thing. So, it is pretty cool. There's nothing really wrong with it. Again, but the deep state was attacking, and the people in the house were going to suffer. They were going to mess with everybody. Right. So I decided, it's just better to move on. But people from India, that's the kind of that's the kind of life they live, and it's not bad. I mean, it really isn't, especially if you're a younger person, because the private. It's better to have that connection than to have the absolute privacy. Right. Right. Especially that stage of life. And then they're cooking food, and it's good stuff. So again, I agree with Bannon to a certain degree, and we don't want people trashing our country or trashing us. Again, I don't have a real life because I was attacked. If I wasn't attacked, I probably would have went to college, back to school, finished college, and may have been one of with the H-1B people writing code or something. Right. But again, if unemployment becomes an issue or a well enough paying job, then that becomes the H-1B may become an issue. Well, we again people that are agricultural workers. There's been a program out to just allow them to really, in midstream, the employer get them a visa. And that was part of that push because we can't go it alone. Right. Right. Well, again, there's a difference between what's happened and what should have been, maybe per se. We definitely needed to bring people in for employment, but again, you can't let it go out of control. I tried to give them mechanisms on how to keep it under control, and I told them you got to put these people to work. If you don't put them to work, idle minds, are dangerous in these type of situations, and they were. They got into trouble with crime and all sorts of craziness. So again, that used to be the litmus test. Really, you come here, you work, or you're with a family. You could be on something, but if you have to be self-supporting, right? And if you're not, then you go. Well, I'm not against anything, but there is a reality of how we have to run the country so we can have a minimum level safety, security, wellness. Right. Correct, sir. So again, you've heard me, say, hey, we can't deport at that level. We just can't do it, at least even in the near term. I mean, again, why would we want to in the long term if these are good people and they're working well, and we don't have, unemployment issues? Right. Right. Well, it's just kind of getting the mind in the game. It's kind of what I'm doing here, right? Because apparently, it crept up real quick. Right. We have inflation pressures creeping up, especially in groceries. I knew they were going to come. I could just feel it. That's why I said don't cause friction. Friction. Try to keep everything even keel because people start hating, and then they want prices to go up and things like that. Well, the idea is this. I told the Democrats, back when Trump won, I said, well, don't just write it off. I mean, there's places where you can help them. Help them. Be supportive. Right, and that's still moving along. Again, what they're trying to do is try to cause shit. Again, friction. So, oh yeah, they're all bending the knee to Trump because they're mad because we're going to help Trump. And again, I'm not really a Democrat. I'm not really a Republican. I believe in good government. No, actually, great government. Right. Thank you. So there's a lot of people that still want to try to do that. Again, Kamala Harris is not a bad person, really. I mean, play your politics all you like, but she started the thing that I helped with, and everybody was gonna pull together and be part of one government. Right? There's no reason to stop that, and that's what I brought up. I said there's no reason to stop the plan just because Trump gets in there. Right? There's no reason to start a political war where people suffer because we won't pull together. Again, it's a two-way street, right? And Trump's pretty good at that sometimes. The art of the deal. Okay, like I said, it's kind of like a what do they call that? Stand to. This is like economic stand to. In the military, like in the morning, everybody gets up, or when you're in a combat posture or a training posture to simulate combat, you get up in the morning and everybody's on the perimeter because that's generally when the enemy used to attack. Pre-dawn. Right. So it's kind of like a pepper rally kind of thing too. So that's kind of where I am. Where we get our mind in the game, and again, we can mine things not abusively, but we can mine things to success, right? Where it just kind of just flows on its own. Right? But again, if we increase friction, then it's a lot harder for us to do that because there's things that come against the mind of success. So again, Trump and Vance were at the Tomb of the Unknown. That was great. Right, that looked good. Trying to figure out if this must still being delivered. Who's that? Is that a dark spot or somebody standing there? All right, give me a second. I'm going to pull up my camera here. So sometimes I again, it's just such a son of a bitch that I didn't get paid, that I didn't get to take care of the first administration because I read from Trump. A lot of what I do is based upon that insight. Right. Thank you, Larry. I guess they know who the son of a bitch is now, right? So you have to be careful what your people are doing around me. Right. They've already tried. I don't know who they are, but they've already tried to alienate me from Trump, from helping Trump. Right. Well, the thing is, if you take over government or something in government and you think about the people, and again, you got to be realistic, and you can't fix everything all the time. But we can do a pretty good job of it if we focus. If you focus on the people instead of your own wealth, your own success, it's pretty easy then, because your mind is like, I want to help these people. I want people to succeed. And if you don't have food, I want to feed you, but I don't want the government to get fleeced. And again, who gets fleeced when we have fraud, waste, and abuse? The person that receives the subsistence, because we're paying this huge overhead on the subsistence when we could actually save money and give additional subsistence and still be under the budget that we're looking at. Right. So that's one of the problems. Right. Right. So again, it's an exciting time because, like I say, it's not rocket science. Trimming the budget is not rocket science. It really isn't. Right. Now, again, the idea of being stuck that in 6 months I have to save this much from the budget, that's whatever. Really just really focus on doing the right thing. Now they're hitting me right now somehow. I guess they're projecting. Again, if I had money and had life, their projections would do nothing probably. Yeah, they just hacked me, somebody, thinking it's funny. I'm being hacked. So again, we stand at the doorstep in. Hang on, somebody may have knocked on my door. Oh, they're here. I'll be back in a second. I got to go show them my ID. I'm going to mute it. He had to take a photo of my ID because it's, I guess, a controlled substance of some sorts. You can't. Yeah, but it's not like, I don't think it's that type of cough medicine, so it's weird because it's safe tussin. It doesn't have any of that. Right? But I guess maybe somebody could abuse it. They figure out how to abuse everything. Now they replaced it with this hiker's trail mix. I wanted something a little more fruity. Right. Now I had a craving for veggie sticks and some trail mix. So again, just we get our head in the game, and if we all pull together, we might be able to do some grundle things. So what we need to focus on is that it's not a Democrat, it's not a Republican, it's not Trump. It's a nation, and we all have our little part in this process, right? But again, the art of the deal, mano a mano, right? What have you done for me lately? Scratch back, scratch back. So again, as I've asked the Democrats not to rebel just because they're not president, uh, we all should realize that there is a system, and uh, if we got to give to get. So you have to figure out where you can give to get. Right. As far as TikTok, the world's so hacked. This idea that TikTok is the only place that's doing anything is kind of ludicrous. Doesn't make any sense. Right. I mean, you don't even need the TikTok app to do what they say TikTok is doing. You don't. Right. So I think the first administration, Trump engaged in some meetings. Some hard feelings in those meetings, but again, let's get with that. We start meeting with the Democrats right away. Ask them what they want. They want to be president, but of course they can't be. But besides that, ask them what they want. See if we can get some support. Well, timeliness is important. Of course, Trump messed up timeliness for Biden. So again, reduce the friction. Well, I'm going to go for now. I'll be back later after I take my cough medicine and all that. Eat my veggie sticks. Well, praise God in all that you do. Praise God.